Today we're going to be doing some Fortnite gameplay and I hope you enjoy. So let's get to it. I'm gonna go maybe do some warrior. Come on. Here, let me just do something. Who belongs to me? Okay. That happened. And that happened. Wow. my god.
At Radford University, criminal justice students get to hear from a man today who isn't supposed to be alive. Back in 1992, Ray Crone was sentenced to die in Phoenix, Arizona for a murder it turns out he did not commit. WSOS 10's Bethany Teague sat down with Crone today and shares more on his remarkable journey.
I was home in bed when this murder happened.
Meet Ray Crone, the 100th man.
Very smooth. Alo. Bine. Trompat. Aluminiu. We back. Oh no. Stau în bucătărie, ce să facă?
Iau. Atunci unde mai ținem la joc?
Nu, zic ce se aude că stai lângă, exact lângă microfon acum. De asta. Eu am făcut să fie zgomotul în ăsta.
Am uitat ce fac.
Stau în bucătărie.
Gira telefonul.
E telefonul meu.
Gira telefonul.
Oh, ok. Stai, leacă. Oh. Oh no. 5 HP. If I didn't show, I would have been dead right there. Medkit. Medkit. Yeah! Ha, got him. That's what happens. Okay, bye.
To survive death row,
There's nothing in life that was prepared to do this.
Crone was convicted in 1992 for the brutal murder of a bartender who worked at one of his favorite hangout spots. Even though Crone insisted he wasn't there that night,
Hey, Zeruya, by the way, I have a search warrant here.
police had a different opinion.
Tell me I'm the murderer and a rapist. You have to ask me to confess. Well, you should have told me to confess.
Never wavered, but it was
Wow.
no use. He was sentenced to die by lethal injection. Words he will never forget.
You can hear the sounds. You can pretty much smell the courtroom.
So there he sat in isolation for 3 years, waiting to die.
It's not even living, it's barely even surviving.
Then, a glimmer of hope. Crone was granted a retrial that would include new DNA evidence that was taken from a bite mark on the victim's body. This time, he knew his nightmare would be over.
Experts said that's not my DNA, no way.
But after a 7-week trial, the justice system failed Crone yet again.
To have the jury come back and say guilty again just knocks the wind out of me. I couldn't believe it.
It wasn't until 2002 that he was finally exonerated through even more extensive DNA evidence. So against all odds, Crone is here today. He now travels the world working to eliminate the death penalty.
There's 155 of us now that have been exonerated from death row. There's still over 3,000 people on death row in America.
It was alleged.
Only on 5 tonight, Betty Yu takes us to some rare locations on the Rock to show us how they got out.
There's something about this old prison that brings nearly 4,000 visitors by the boatload to this island on any given day. Alcatraz was a federal penitentiary for nearly 3 decades. In that time, there were 36 escape attempts. 23 were caught, 6 were shot and killed, and 2 drowned. But 3 men, brothers John and Clarence Anglin and Frank Morris, have never been found.
They crawled out of their cells up on the roof and escaped into the San Francisco Bay, and that you got to give it to them. They broke the system.
For 55 years, that legendary escape is still one of the greatest mysteries in American history.
Welcome to Alcatraz.
The allure partly fueled by popular shows and Hollywood, including the movie Escape from Alcatraz, starring Clint Eastwood.
And what they did is they...
I got an inside look at the infamous cells, normally off limits to the public, where the trio of bank robbers began their months-long plot. I'm standing in John Anglin's jail cell. It is 5 by 9 in the size of a standard pool table. If you take a look behind me, that's the air vent that he widened to escape through.
They literally drill small holes around the existing vent and then push that concrete in.
This photo shows the kind of meticulous work they did around the vent with the drill. On the night of June 11th, they were ready to go. After squeezing through this cement wall, they climbed up a network of pipes and plumbing before they made it here to the roof. Up marks the spot. This was the actual portal to freedom for those 3 escapees. After they knocked off the air vent, they ended up here on the roof of the cell house and ran straight to freedom.
Once they were on the ground, they went underneath the water tower and scrambled down to the smokestack at the north end, inflated their raft, and paddled away, never to be seen again.
The inmates used 50 raincoats to make that raft in a secret workshop they set up on top of their cells. Paddle-like pieces of wood and one of the life vests washed up near Angel Island. What was left behind in their cells? Dummy heads made of plaster, paper mache, paint, and real human hair to fool the guards.
Very sophisticated. With all the moving parts, they did a lot of work. They read off of mechanics magazine. They had access to stuff in the library.
This is the cover of that 1960 Popular Mechanics issue, found in one of the cells, featuring a how-to on raft-making techniques. Supervisory Deputy U.S. Marshal Michael Dyke has been working this case for the last 14 years. He still gets 1 or 2 leads a month. Most turn into dead ends.
There's theories about if they left at a certain time, the tides would have been in their favor and they could have made it ashore. There's theories that they were in South America. My general sense of it, there's a more likelihood that they didn't make it.
The Federal Bureau of Prisons say that they drowned once they got off of Alcatraz and their bodies were swept out to the Pacific Ocean. End of story.
If the men are alive today, Frank Morris would be 90 years old. John and Clarence Anglin, 86 and 87. Using age progression technology, the FBI released these images of what they might look like.
I believe they made it to shore. No one knows, they might be in Brazil. I doubt that.
William Baker was 23 when he did time on Alcatraz. He knew Frank Morris.
He was a very quiet guy, very patient guy. He was a guy that could actually do things, mechanically.
The men's ingenuity was as great as their desperation to escape from Alcatraz. now one of America's most popular tourist attractions. In San Francisco, Betty Yu, KPIX 5.
He almost got away with it. The high school hunk turned gentleman bank robber who had the brains and unfortunately the desperation to plan one of the most outrageous bank heists in years. The question at the heart of it, how to keep eyewitnesses from identifying him.
Well, he did what any deep-thinking robber would do. He hired extras, people who had no idea what they were showing up for, cloning himself 15 times over. And if it sounds like a movie, it might soon be. Tonight, though, the real-life script from the robber himself. Even before he gives it to Hollywood, he's giving it exclusively in 2020. Here's Gio Benitez.
In the annals of robberies gone wrong, there's a long list of do's and don'ts. Like, always know your escape route. Come up with a better disguise than a tree.
He had tree branches duct taped about his body.
The line between brilliant and botched is blurred. He pulled off the perfect crime. Almost from high school football fame to bank heist infamy. It's like something out of a movie.
A brazen bank robbery suspect
Wearing gloves, sunglasses, and a mask.
attacking an armored truck with a bag full of cash, making his escape on an inner tube.
Curcio is now known in his hometown as the crook who almost got away with a seriously crazy plan. It started here, on the outskirts of Seattle, the sleepy town of Monroe, Washington, where manicured lawns smack of ordinary life. The kind of place where life seems pretty predictable, unless, of course, you're planning the unpredictable. In Curcio's case, it was a crime fit for Hollywood, complete with decoys and disguises, daring escapes on jet skis and inner tubes, and bags overflowing with stolen loot. You had just stolen $400,000. What does that even look like?
Enough to fit in a bathtub.
Curcio's life of crime started innocently enough. A golden boy from a well-to-do family with everything going for him, and for whom everything came a little too easy. Captain of the high school football team, known for his Friday Night Lights victory.
How? Oh my god.
Catching a touchdown pass, that's a true feeling.
How much of that defined who you were then?
Everything. That's what I was.
He had it all. Good looks, a talent for sports, and a pretty cheerleader girlfriend named Emily.
I knew that there was something special about Emily, and beyond special for sure.
You know, we were that couple where the teachers would call me Mrs. Curcio. I remember the first time that he told me that he loved me, I was just kind of like, oh my God.
The two became inseparable in high school and stayed together when he went to college at the University of Idaho. No longer the big fish in a small pond, Curcio was now feeling the pressure of college sports. His way to cope? Alcohol. Lots of alcohol. That was your escape. You just kept drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking.
Things got so bad after a couple months of that, I was just drinking straight out of the bottle.
The next season, a torn ACL was Curcio's introduction to a new vice, Vicodin, which numbed the pain of just about everything.
I was insecure about not being good enough. Vicodin took that away from me. It calmed me down. It made me feel like Anthony doesn't need to be an athlete. How far would you go when I started taking prescriptions going
foundation, integrity. Once I met Vicodin, that all went out the window.
You talk about Vicodin like it's a person.
Vicodin, well, it's an enemy. That's what it is.
Pills became his lifeblood.
But my addiction progressed. My criminal involvement progressed too.
The more pills he took, the more brazen his behavior, like dressing up as a mover to steal college furniture. He even created counterfeit baseball cards to sell on eBay, all for his addiction.
All I remember is that moment after I take pills and feeling like the man again. Everything's cool, everything's at peace.
It was that man who married his high school sweetheart Emily and became a father to a little girl. He lived a double life for over a decade.
You were putting on this front. As best I could, yes.
He was the spin master, and I was like putty. I believed everything that he said.
He was a man used to turning a quick buck, so he got into real estate, flipping houses to support an increasingly lavish lifestyle.
Not even my wildest nightmares could I have dreamt up or made up the kinds of things that he was actually doing.
She stayed with him through multiple stints of rehab, but had no idea how far her husband had fallen. At his worst, Curcio says he was blowing through $15,000 a month on drugs, popping 50 pills a day. He was living on the edge. Then he went over. After investing hundreds of thousands of dollars in homes, the market crashes.
Yes.
And now you've not on the verge of losing his big house and the Mercedes parked out front. Now, with less than $20 in his bank account, he was even stealing groceries. So he did what came naturally, find his next fix. Sitting in a parking lot, munching on a Jack-in-the-Box burger, Curcio came up with an even grander plan for some fast cash.
I'd just been into the Bank of America, and I see the armored car show up. What'd you say to yourself? This is the answer.
Curcio became obsessed with, even addicted to, planning an armored truck heist, drawing elaborate diagrams of the scene, spending hours watching the trucks and learning their blind spots. All to the hum of Tom Petty's Free Fallin' on the radio.
When I was on pills, I have the OCD, very detail-oriented.
Curcio came up with a clever disguise when he was out, casing the bank.
I started to dress up as like a landscaper that was doing the grounds. I got this landscaping outfit, blue shirt, blue hat, safety vest, and I was so obvious right in front of him that he couldn't see me.
The getaway plan? Use something fast to get down a slow-moving creek. A jet ski would do, but when he found the water wasn't deep enough,
I started digging this thing out, 6, 7, 8 hours a day.
You realize that you were literally changing the geography of a creek.
Yes.
So this could work.
Yes. Stupid.
I mean, you really thought you would be able to pull this off?
Yes, there was no question I would be able to pull it off. That's how I thought then.
On the first dry, or rather wet run, the jet ski hit a rock, still not deep enough. So he came up with plan B. He would use an inflatable yellow inner tube to float his way to freedom. And here's where Curcio's plan jumped the tracks. On a practice run, Curcio stashed his disguise behind a nearby dumpster, forgetting, of course, that where there are dumpsters, there are dumpster divers.
This homeless guy with his long beard and a dog started yelling, "I know what that stuff is," or something like that. Like, what are you talking about? And I got in to my car. I'm thinking, man, you just jeopardized everything. You've done all this planning, you've done all this stuff in order not to get caught. And then I started to think, even if he has a light description, that doesn't mean anything.
To Curcio, there was no turning back. And now there was just one step left, creating 15 accomplices to help him pull off his perfect crime.
I realized that I could create decoys by just blending into the crowd. To create the crowd, I needed to create the crowd. That's when I went to Craigslist.
And this latest idea to Curcio's already wacky plan. Stay with us. Curcio was about to attempt one of the most bizarre bank robberies in recent history. After 3 months of meticulous planning, everything was in place, including the final detail, decoys.
I needed to create the crowd. How can I get people to show up at this place? you know, at one time or whatever. My thing was, I'm gonna go make a Craigslist posting, and I'm gonna get people to wear the exact same thing I was wearing there.
He posted a convincing ad luring eager landscapers with promises of $28 an hour. It specified a uniform, blue hat, blue shirt, safety glasses, and a yellow vest, a minor investment for someone looking for a job. He even followed up by email with more details, where and when to meet, and to stay put until their supervisor showed up. And it worked. The morning of the crime, a crowd of hopeful workers stood cluelessly outside the bank. This was the get-up Curcio's ad called for. Now imagine me times 15.
What's up, dude?
Now, one of these guys was going to pull off the ultimate heist that morning. It was going to help. He just didn't know it. Corey Skinner was one of those workers.
Everybody was just kind of sitting around talking and waiting to go to work. And about 35 minutes later, we finally realized that we weren't there to work.
Corey went to high school with Anthony Curcio, but had no idea what the most popular kid in school was about to do.
I'm definitely nervous. It felt just like before a big game, except and now I'm dealing with my life here. All of a sudden I see the armored car. So I take my mace, I get about 15 feet from him, pepper spray him.
This bank surveillance video tells the story. Curcio comes out of nowhere and hits the guard with enough mace to stun a bear. The guard reaches for his eyes and lets go of the bags of money hanging on the cart. Curcio makes his move.
Did what I planned on doing and grabbed the money. Took off.
Detectives Tim Buzz Bazell and Barry Hatch didn't need to get the call that morning. They heard it.
I was on another case, and I kept hearing sirens and sirens. And I know, oh, something's big's going on.
Buzz and Hatch, each with 15 years of sleuthing under their holstered belts, constitute 2/3 of the detective unit in the small town of Monroe. But when Buzz and Hatch arrive at the bank that day, they encounter a first. 15 clones of their crook. When you started seeing all these people wearing the same clothes, what were you thinking?
A lot of people dressed up the same way might be a distraction to some, but really we're chasing a guy that's running down the street, stripping off his clothes.
They learn from eyewitnesses that the culprit is tall, skinny, and athletic, and that he took off carrying the 2 bags of cash under his arm. Like, what else? A football. Where was he running off to? Did they tell you where?
Right down to the creek.
Right down this way?
Yep.
We see how busy this road is.
It's a very busy intersection and road.
And it happened in the middle of the day.
Yes, and he almost got hit by a truck.
The witnesses saw the robber race down this path toward the creek, fumbling one bag along the way, clearly overwhelmed by the weight of his treasure. Then, for 200 feet at breakneck speed, he ran to the edge of the creek to make his unlikely getaway on an inner tube.
The officers told me that the inner tube was on the far side of the creek. I thought it was resting up against some trees and bush. That was a strange way to try to escape from a robbery. And where did he go?
Where'd he go? The last place anyone would look for a thief.
I have to get out of there. So I'm trying to think in this whole chaotic mess, and the only place I could think of was, well, the one place that the police aren't going to be is at the police station right now.
Curcio sets off in the direction of the local police station, now looking like an average Joe walking down Main Street. But this was where Curcio's plan really goes awry, with 2 thoughtless blunders. Number 1,
my shoes are soaking wet.
When he tries to use a phone at a nearby business, he nearly blows his cover.
Hoping the receptionist doesn't notice him. I say, is it right if I use your phone?
He gets on the phone and arranges a ride. But then blunder number 2 hits him. Where do you stash 400 grand in cash?
After counting it, it was like, okay, done deal. I'm patting myself on the back. I saved the day in my mind. Then I'm trying to figure out, well, what do I...
Left behind in his mad dash.
When he ran off, he had tore off his mask, a particle mask, dark sunglasses, a hat, a wig, and threw that on the ground and continued running down to the river.
And what were you thinking when you hear all this?
I'm suspecting that all of that is great evidence to catch whoever did it.
Inside the robber's mask, trace amounts of saliva that would contain his DNA. Finding a man that matched that DNA would take these detectives on a cat and mouse chase right out of Catch Me If You Can.
Someone called in a report of robbery-type items being hidden behind a dumpster near the bank.
When they dig up the report, they find the caller not only discovered the disguise, he also took down the license plate of the man who came back for the items. When that officer put that license plate in there, what do you learn about that?
The owner of the vehicle. And who's that owner? Emily Curcio.
And in the small town of Monroe, everyone knew Emily Curcio was married to Anthony Curcio.
Anthony's name was the one that quickly came to the top of the list.
Now you have this name at the top of the list. And what do you do with it?
Well, we've got to track down the witness to start with, to really solidify that what he saw was what he saw.
And this wasn't your typical witness, was it?
No.
When we come back, who was the mystery caller who had been keeping an eye on Curcio? His identity would shock everyone. Stay with us.
The urgent search currently underway for 2 convicted killers. The drama began this weekend. The Khans apparently used power tools to escape New York's Clinton Correctional Facility. Their brazen and meticulous prison break seemed...
Oh my god, it's so boring. Okay. And guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and follow my social medias. And thank you. Let's see what's up in the chat. And guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and follow my social medias. What should I do now? I'll go selfies, why not? I'm sorry guys for not talking, I was just, didn't know really what to say. Okay. Tilted, okay. 2 people are watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm trying to get 6 subscribers, and thank you if you do. And go to my hide and seek part 2 video, and you're gonna enter the giveaway, and there's gonna be a link, and you can enter it. And the giveaway is 1,000 V-Bucks. Wow. How did you not kill me? The guy was watching, right in the chat if you want the 1,000 V-Bucks. And I will, if you can't enter, just play. Nice dude. If you want, you can. Do you want to play with me? Just write in the chat if you want to play. He got me. So Victor Lopez, write in the chat if you wanna play. Guys, I'm gonna end the video here, guys. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you have a great day.